Its anus. And I want us all to take a moment to close our eyes and consider what exuding fire from our anus can symbolize. It's more than one thing, and it deserves serious thought. So, next slide. Yes, China, Ferrari, sex, orgy, death, crash. Those are 6 fantastic words which all feature in huge ways in this text. If you haven't read it, I'm so sorry for you having to try to connect these things, which is why I'm going to guide us right along to the next slide. And controlling the conversation. What is, I mean honestly, what is the act of writing if not an attempt to control the conversation in exactly the way that this beautiful young woman is, that in a way, does she not symbolize the writer, and do we not symbolize the tarantula? Or, alternately, not to look at it simplistically, do we not symbolize the tarantula? And does she not symbolize the writer? Next slide. Yes. These are things we have to weigh when it comes to serious scholarly analysis. As nearly as we can tell, there are 3 kinds of people when it comes to analyzing this kind of thing, and I want it to be perfectly clear that I belong to the largest quality and thereby the best, in that I am someone who uses air quotes. Next slide. Yes. Yes. Think about it. Don't respond. Think about it. There we go. Searching for ear candy. The point of literature is not for me to just stand up here and feed you the answers, but for us to explore them together. Next slide. Now these are 2 things that contemporary slang has conflated, these 2 things, a deuce and a douche. We want them to be the same thing. But medieval writers did not see it this way. They saw a deuce and a douche as separate things with very different comic potential, which leads to one grand conclusion that cannot be ignored by anyone seriously examining this text. And that conclusion is, next slide, which little piggy? A deuce leads to one little piggy. A douche leads to another one altogether. Think about it. Next slide.
Oh, God.
What we see here is a metaphor. But what is it a metaphor for? Come on, don't be shy. What's it a metaphor for? Look at this. What is this a metaphor for?
Awesome innocence.
Thank you. This is clearly a metaphor for awesome innocence. Next slide.
Oh, God.
Speaking of awesome innocence, we have ferrets, which are awesome. We have Norway, which is innocent. But what falls into the Venn diagram between the 2 things? Oh, I'll wait. Don't worry about it.
Chili.
Thank you. Chili falls into it. But ultimately, chili is just something in the Venn diagram. But what does chili itself represent? Next slide. No, let's watch it. Let's feel this, because what it is it's a moment of anticipation. It settles down and then something happens. Oh God, and then we wait. Oh God, something happens. Next slide. That reenactment that I and the delightful bunny were creating for you is this. separated, these two things are awful. They are things that should be condemned by any civilized society. We do not like drunk dialing. We do not like Anderson Cooper. We may enjoy them both, but they should not be enjoyed. But when the two of them are combined, they are the most beautiful thing that our species is capable of producing. Next slide. Speaking of the most beautiful thing that our species is capable of producing, it is not contained anywhere in this picture. Next slide. In summary, we see so many things happening in this picture. We see talons, we see feathers, we see eyes, we see what is clearly the Triforce from the Legend of Zelda series, and we see a penis. And when we combine all of these things, we achieve something that our species only achieved in one beautiful moment in space and time, and that is this lost dialogue, which can only be equivalent to talons, feathers, the Triforce from the Legend of Zelda, and a penis. Thank you very much.